Hey everyone, welcome to this video lesson on Walkin' Boss a la Jerry Garcia from the Garcia Grisman version. I'll link to that below. This version actually starts with an intro that's just Cluck Old Hen, so you get a bonus Cluck Old Hen. So let me play through it and then the tabs will follow in the lesson. This is what it sounds like. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Walkin' boss, walkin' boss, walkin' boss. No, I don't belong to you. I belong, I belong, I belong to that still driving. There we go. So let's talk a little bit about this tune. First off, we're going to ignore this Cluck Old Hen intro for a second and just talk about the chords of Walkin' Boss. The way they're playing it in this version is just the two chords, D minor and C. And if you follow the melody, it's relatively easy. We got, Walkin' Boss, the D minor, Walkin' Boss, C chord, Walkin' Boss again, C chord again. No, I don't. We go up nice and high. Still on C chord. Don't belong to you. Back to D minor. And that's the whole tune. Just kind of keeps repeating. Now I'm going to mention there are other versions. For example, people do it in major keys where they go Walkin' Boss, D major, Walkin' Boss, C chord, Walkin' Boss. And then when it goes up high, they'll go to the 5 chord, which in this case is an A. No, I don't belong to you. That's a version that's relatively common. Another version is still in the minor, but when we go up high, we add a chord change, but not to the 5 chord, to the 4. I think it's a little more bluesy. It's probably the way that I prefer to play it, which sounds like Walkin' Boss, D minor, Walkin' Boss, C major, Walkin' Boss. Now when we go, no, I don't, we're going to go to the G chord. Don't belong to you. Sometimes people throw a quick C in there. No, I don't belong to you. So those are all relatively common variations. Now you can't play them all at the same time, but if you're at a jam, try to pay attention like, oh, someone's playing it with the 4 chord here, I'll follow them. Okay, so now let's quickly talk about the playing of Cluck Old Hen. So it's kind of a nice playing. It's very sparse, at least when you play just the guitar. This is basically a full transcription of the guitar on it. And it sounds a lot better with the mandolin. So it's a little bit sparse. I think if I was playing it alone, and probably should have done in this intro, is I would have just strummed the chord a little bit more. But let's go through it. So we have the A section twice. It's this little line. Then that repeats. There's a couple extra picked notes here, but it goes again. Then we go to this B section, and the B section, again, you could do more strums, but there's not many here. It sounds like this. I really want to strum here, so I will. So you could strum anytime you've got a long note. All right, now the second line's got a little bit more picking in it. All right, we have this. Yeah, and this is a technique, by the way, if you want to make notes longer, it's a very fiddle sort of technique, is you're always just, like any note you play, you just go back a note and then up to the note again. So if we had a melody that was like, you could just, okay, I'm going to have to adjust my guitar here. Okay, so now let's talk about Walkin' Boss. So this is not an exact note for note transcription of Garcia's playing, which would be, I don't know, not so hard to do, but it varies so often. I just wanted to give the broad sweep so you know what's happening. So this is kind of, I don't want to say it's a simplistic version, but I'll show you a couple little variations that you could do. But let's go through it. All I'm going to do here is I'm getting this pick, strum thing through the whole thing. You're kind of following the melody and just doing pick, down, up, pick. Okay, this is the first line. Now, a couple things I'll point out. Just doing kind of something very simple. Pick, down, up, pick. The things that are important is this. The rest of it is kind of up to interpretation. So instead of doing pick, down, up, you could just do like a down, up, down, down, up, down, up sort of strum. So it's good to vary between the two of them, and then you can kind of mix them as you go. The other thing I'll say is, and I'm trying to make it more obvious here, when I do this hammer-on 2, it's a little bit weird. I bring my middle finger up here, so you could kind of strum the chord like this is the second bar here. Hammer-on 2, I could try to hold the D minor and get it, which is kind of a crazy chord sounding by itself. But it doesn't really matter. Like what I've gotten written there is you're kind of hitting just these notes. It's more about the rhythm than it is about the chord. You could just kind of hit open strings if you wanted, right? Again, here I'm kind of not even getting like the full C chord. It's a little different than it's written because my finger's still up here, but it's more about the rhythm than anything else for that. Okay, next line is essentially the same thing. Hammer-ons on this string, the high note, pause. Oh. So let me do just that line one more time. Now, if you're singing it, you can just play a C chord, but Garcia almost always plays a little lick there, whether it's or like little just variations in a D minor. You can experiment around with it, or all these little sort of things that you do. Yeah, so that might even be the toughest part, is just kind of putting that pause. And then the last 2 bars are just kind of picking on a D minor. This very last thing that I have is often a repeat when you go back. You could go like we did at the very beginning, or you could go, or it's basically the same thing. Walkin' boss, or walkin' boss. They both work. So that's the tab of this. I'm going to play through it in a slow tempo, but let me talk really quickly about just other variations. So the one thing I said is on the times where you're not playing the little melody, walkin' boss, you can always do a down, up, down, up sort of strum. So that's a nice thing to practice, right? Down, up, down, up. Another thing too is, instead of hammering on, you could pick those notes. Those are kind of nice little variations that you can do. There's all sorts of nonsense that he plays. Or little kind of variations in D minor. Anywho, last thing I'm going to do here is just play through it at a slow tempo with the tab, so you can kind of walk through it. So we'll do the intro, and then we'll go into Walkin' Boss. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. last line again. Okay, walking boss. 3, 1, 2. And so on. All right. This is a fun tune. I'm having a lot of fun working on it. Hope you guys enjoy it. And till next time, yeah, bye.